Swaddling can soothe and calm your baby, but many parents have a hard time figuring out exactly how to do it. Well, Reagan Moya-Jones is here today to show us 2 techniques that will help you get the best swaddle. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Swaddling is so important because it really calms your baby down, but sometimes the blankets are the problem because they're just not big enough. You've solved that problem.
Absolutely.
Tell us what's different about this besides the fact that it's so much larger.
Okay, well, a couple of things that make it so unique. Predominantly the size, which is 47 by 47, so it is by far the largest swaddling blanket on the market.
So you can really get a good wrap.
Exactly. I think a lot of mums give up on swaddling because they get frustrated because the blankets are not big enough. So, you know, once a baby turns 6-7 weeks, they're moving around and they
Pop
escape.
right out.
Exactly. And so they give up, and which is a bad thing because, you know, swaddling really helps you and the baby sleep.
To sleep. Now this is muslin, which is the other difference. It's made
Exactly.
by your company, Aden and Anais.
That's correct.
And it's much lighter than your typical fabric that's been used up to now for swaddling.
Absolutely, which is by far and away the most important feature of this particular blanket is the breathability of the fabric. So.
And you have 2 methods.
Yes.
Let's start with the first. We
Okay.
have your little baby here.
Okay. So
let's.
What I also want to tell everybody is, you know, you see a lot of things out there on how to swaddle babies and everything, and they're done by registered nurses, and they're these fabulous techniques, and, you know, and you feel like you need a degree to do it. That's not true. You just need the right product. And, you know, you just need to know how to get a tight swaddle. So
well, she feels very lifelike.
Right. That is like the size of probably an 8-week baby.
Show us how to do this.
Yeah. So just you make sure you get their shoulders right on the edge of the swaddle.
Okay.
And then what you do is you take, it doesn't matter which arm first, but gently lay their arm over onto the side of their body. Then take the fabric and pull it tight.
And that's very important, right?
Very tight, because the natural movement of the baby will allow the baby to find their own comfort, you know, level within the swaddle.
Okay.
So then what you do is
underneath?
make sure, you lift their other arm out.
And then
you roll the baby slightly. That's right. Make sure it's tucked, you know, securely underneath. Okay. Then you would lift the fabric up and tuck that into the top of the swaddle.
All right.
Just like that. And then you do the same thing again.
The arm out again.
Yes, make sure it's down. And then again, you can see with the amount of fabric in this, the blanket, that you can really get a nice,
good wrap,
secure.
and then tuck it in.
And then you can tuck it in at the top again.
This baby's not going anywhere.
No. So, and as you were saying, Julie, it's very important to pull the fabric tight because there is actual natural give in muslin. So there's a natural stretchability to muslin.
Okay.
So never feel bad about really getting a very tight swaddle, because as soon as the baby starts to move around, it will find, you know, the swaddle will loosen up.
Will loosen a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there's another method before we run out of time, the Aussie method.
We call it the Aussie method because when I was in Australia on maternity leave, an Australian nurse taught me this because my children loved to be swaddled and they weren't ready to stop, but they were getting frustrated by being pinned tightly down.
So when they're beyond maybe 4 months and they're getting a little larger?
Even earlier than that.
Okay.
I think some babies can get frustrated as early as 8 weeks, you know, with their arms tightly pinned down. So what you would do was start exactly the same way with it, in terms of the position of the baby.
Okay.
But rather than pulling their hand down and pulling the swaddle across, what you do is you take their arm and you put it up into the fabric.
Oh, so they can still have an arm
Exactly.
up.
And then fold it over and again tuck it securely underneath them.
Okay. What a good baby.
Right, very cooperative.
Okay.
If they were only all this easy, right?
And then the other arm comes out.
And then the same thing with the other arm. So take that and tuck that up into the fabric, fold it down.
Okay.
And now with this, by the time they're a little older, you don't need to worry about folding the fabric up. I never did, you know. My girls were happy with their legs just kicking around at the bottom. So no, you wouldn't put it over their arm.
Not over the arm, underneath.
Under.
I see.
And tuck it underneath. And so what happens then is the baby can bring their hands up
to their face.
Exactly, but with the startle reflex, they still can't go very far. So they still feel very secure in the swaddle. However, they can bring their hands up to their face and you know.
When baby's secure, we get a good night's sleep.
Absolutely.
Reagan, thank you so much. Great techniques here. You're making some parents happy today. I know
Thank
you
you.
are. To see a step-by-step guide to these swaddling methods, or for more information about the Aden and Anais blankets, you can go to adenandanais.com. And now here are some swaddling tips from Dr. Jennifer Trachtenberg, author of Good Kids, Bad Habits.
Swaddling is really just snugly wrapping your baby in a blanket so they feel cozy and warm. It's similar to the experience they feel when they're inside the womb. It actually prevents them from having their startle reflex that wakes them up and makes them uncomfortable. And these babies that are swaddled, and they actually sleep better on their back and sleep longer. And this actually can help protect against SIDS as well. When you swaddle your baby, you do want to make sure that it's not too tight, that the baby is still comfortable, and you want to make sure not to overheat the baby. So if you do swaddle the baby, make sure that the baby's just wearing a onesie or cotton pajamas, nothing too heavy. Usually a baby will let you know when they want to be stopped swaddling, and it's usually about 2 months or so. They then like to be more free and move their arms and legs about. And if you do actually restrict them, that actually might hinder them sleeping and make it more difficult. So about 2 months.
Thanks for watching Parents TV. We'll see you soon.